Now we're gonna get into this post show real quick.
All right.
Let's see.
We've got this message from Eva the Nomad who just jumped off, and we're gonna see if this will play.
People worship money all day, every day, but then call it evil. What are you worshiping? That's why everything's so messed up now. It's like a lot of people are really indecisive about any of their actual values.
Absolutely. You want to take that one?
But yeah, Eva was right. Like, what are your values? Like, what are you really valuing when it comes to money?
Straight
Why
up.
Why are you pouring all your money into, sneakers and all this other stuff? What are you pouring your money into? What are the values that are actually going to matter long term?
Real quick, before we lose the sneakerheads, nothing wrong with sneakers. Everybody needs shoes.
Nothing at all.
But I know I've known a handful of sneakerheads, and they'll talk to you about it. Like, hey, I appreciate what you're talking about there, but you ain't had to bring Jordans into it. It's like, I get you. But nah, like...
Just to give some context for that. So for those of y'all who don't know, I'm like 6'6" and size 17 shoes. So I've been growing out of shoes left and right since I was like 12.
Genuinely, this dude is built like a right angle. Like...
But yeah, so me and sneakers, we have a very interesting relationship because I never really got to, wear shoes for more than like a year.
It's true. Like, but to get back to her, to the Nomad, like, it is genuinely kind of wild, and we didn't really touch on it, but I feel like now would be a good enough time to do it. Like mega churches, like the mega churches that get into scandals and stuff,
Right.
where they're like, hey, we worship God, the one true God, etc., etc. And that's all fine and good. I'm not trying to get religious on this at all. I would rather keep it secular to talk to more people. But we all know that one church, like whichever church you have in mind, where you hear about them and you see them get bigger and bigger and bigger. They're on all these different channels. They're on channels that aren't even necessarily religious anymore, right? They're just fucking spreading across everywhere. And then all of a sudden you hear some random scandal from the dude you've been seeing all over all these different channels. And then suddenly that mega church just doesn't exist anymore. It's run by somebody totally different, right? I think that there is something to be said about that. What? I'm not 100% sure, but I know I just get the worst fucking feeling in the world when I see people in these not people, but I see these pastors in these mega churches talking about, hey, Jesus wants you to give me all your money. And then you look at their funding, they got multiple private jets. It's like, first off, who the fuck needs more than one private jet? What are you wearing them as skates? Like, just flying through the skies on like a biplane or something? Like it's the 1940s? No, just sit down somewhere. Sit down on your one private jet and let that be it. They got multiple homes all across America, sometimes well outside of America, quote unquote, for tax purposes, Like, the church doesn't get taxed to begin with, so even when they're making millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, none of that gets put back into the community, unless they say so. Like, I know a church near me, I don't go to it, but friends of mine go to it. I don't like it because it's huge, like grossly huge, right? And they bought my friends a new car, and they needed a new car, and that's what's up. I don't know the ins and outs of it because I thought that it was kind of sketchy, but they needed a new car, and I'm glad they got blessed that way, right? I'm not here to take away anybody else's blessing or take away from anybody else's blessing. But when I think about it, I always kind of go back and think as far back as I can through the finances of it, and it comes down to the point where it's like, hey, if you were paying your actual taxes, like somebody with multiple buildings of that magnitude and the structure that you guys have, if you were actually paying your taxes like you should have been, And everybody else in that same regard, like all these other mega church pastors and this, that, and the other aren't dodging taxes and stuff, and doing a little funny money books with their financiers. Eventually, people wouldn't need you to perform miracles in their life, because realistically, what you're doing is taking your hundreds of millions of dollars and you are giving back 20,000 in the form of a Sentra, a Nissan Sentra, and it's just a PR stunt. It's like, oh, well, look at this. God bless these people. It's like, you did that. That was a calculated move. Like, if they came into some money out of nowhere and that happened, or they got a raise, or a different job out of nowhere that put them in a better position, that's dope. What you did was got them a bill. They didn't ask for that. They literally had no idea it was coming. They just went to church one day and then left in a different vehicle. It's like, I get it. In the short term, that looks really cool, but that's what makes it PR. And people do that all the time. It's the worship of money. They're like, oh, well, you needed this. Well, I got enough money. I'm going to make that happen for you. That's not, in my opinion, this isn't me saying anything to anybody else, but in my opinion, that's not a deity performing in your life. That's somebody with enough money to be viewed as a deity performing in your life. And that's gross. That's gross.
And so we just want to say real quick, shout out to Nomad for listening and hanging out with us through this podcast.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate the comment. For those of y'all who are just jumping in now, we are in the post show, and so just wanted to let you guys know that we are trying to be more consistent with this podcast. We're going to do the best we can with our schedules that we have, and trying to keep our bro over there healthy as well.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate your time with us today.
And we're going to be posting this on YouTube. We're going to work on putting it on Anchor and all that stuff, so it'll be all over everything else. You can find us at jeniusAF. You'll figure it out. But to sign off just for the post show yet again, move with love in your heart, and in all things peace. You take it easy, Slim.
All right, peace, bro.
Peace.